price. If it's below that, then I will fix the process before I would even consider lowering the price. Web pages, most times it's going to be between 1% and 2% in terms of conversion rate on those pages. I'll give you a fun factoid for school. So I think school right now is at like 4%. It's really good for school about pages. And it's because when you have trust in a platform, that starts to increase your conversion overall. So I'll give you a wild example on this. Again, these are rules of thumb. My Amazon page for my books, so like offers, for example, this is the last time I looked, we convert roughly a quarter of the traffic that hits that page. Think how crazy that is. 1 out of 4 clicks buys. Now, what you trade off when you have a platform like an Amazon, right, is that I'm not making all that money. Amazon's basically making all the money and then like paying me a small commission. And so you just have to play with the numbers there, which is like, okay, instead of it being 25%, I'm getting 2.5%. So I'm getting 10x the conversion per click, and I might be getting 1/3 the gross profit. Is it worth it? Yeah, I'm still making 3 times as much money, right? But you just have to understand the difference between those things. So those are just a handful of rules of thumb that I have followed that have served me well in business, in services, in order to scale. And so I'll leave you with a final rule number 9, which is I'm filling the holes back up for rule number 9. Anybody remember Love Potion number 9? I might be dating myself. That was a movie. You can Google it. Anyways, I'll bring this up, which is this. Industry averages are dumb. And so what do I mean by that? The amount of times I've had a conversation where someone says, hey, manufacturing, these margins are pretty good for manufacturing. Or, hey, our margins are this in our industry. It's like, if the average American is in debt, divorced twice, overweight, and just mid as fuck, right? Why would I want to have that be my bar to compare myself against? You say you have this, so many business owners have this hatred for their competition. They hate their competition. They want to crush their competition, and yet you want to measure yourself by the same stick that your competition measures themselves? Well, it's a great way to be average, right? Is use averages as your determination of whether or not you're good. And so I would highly encourage you to just ignore averages altogether and play to win. And that is just something that has really served me well, which is like I'll come into a space, we'll say, well, you'll learn, I don't know if you guys have seen this clip of Tiger Woods when he's doing his first interview before his first Masters or something. And the guy's like, he's like, well, how do you feel being so young, coming on the Masters tour? And I don't know how it gets to it, but he's like, I'm here to win, or I'm playing to win. And the guy's like, you'll learn, you'll see. And then they play it forward like a year or two or whatever, and he's there with his jacket talking to the same guy, and the guy just has to like eat his words. Like, it's so visceral. Like, the moment is amazing. And so like that is what I envision when I go into an industry that I don't know anything about. It's like that is the advantage. I'm not going to operate within your frame of reality. Like, why would I operate within the frame of beliefs that what the average person has achieved is what I will achieve? Why would I say that is the appropriate outcome that I should be shooting for? Because fundamentally, when you quote an average to say this is good enough, you've accepted that you are no longer going to try to get better. And I just wholeheartedly reject that. Like the winner of every category is not the industry average. And I can almost promise you that they don't look at the industry average because why would they care? Like, there is only like one rule that matters, which is physics. As long as the rules of physics allow it to exist, there's no reason that we cannot get this outcome that we desire, period. And so I'll get asked the question like, do you think you can have margins in a manufacturing business that are above 10%? Yes. You know how I know? I also have a friend of mine who does complex machinery. You know what his margins are? Net 70%. Net. Well, what does that mean about his gross margins? That means they got to be way above 70. You want to know how he did it? He builds machines that he sells to big industries that automate a huge function of different workflows, and he will charge $400,000 and a machine will cost him 17 grand because he has know-how. And so if you think about what a business is functionally a black box that transforms raw materials into an output where the value is higher than the inputs. That's it. That's all a business does, is we have raw inputs, we transform these inputs into something that is more valuable at the end. That is all a business does. And when we do this over and over again, over an entire civilization, we take many raw inputs and we increase value. And that is how the entire world moves forward. And so with that being said, those are my 12 rules of thumb that I've learned in business, different ratios that I use as my guidepost, what's the light towers? What are those things on the edge of oceans? Lighthouse. Those are the lighthouses that guide my path. And I hope they serve you as much as they have served me. Big trust trading. Is school still a great platform to use? Yes. That was a good question. That was an excellent question. Thank you for that. Okay. We're going to shift gears here because I want to talk, because I'm like looking at these comments, right? And this was something that I was messaging Julian about. I was like, okay, I want to talk about this topic when we go live. So I think you will like it. Joan Montalvo, hola, hello, salutations. Okay, so you guys ready? You guys ready to rock and roll? Is school good for winemakers? Yes. Instead of saying, is school good for winemakers, I want you to think differently about this and say, is having a place for all of my ideal customers to gather and talk to me and get feedback good for my business? And if the answer is yes, if my customers were together and I could create a community about my business with my customers, I would make more money. If you believe that to be true, which I think almost all businesses would believe that to be true, then school is a good idea for your business. Now, school can also be a business in and of itself. But for many of you, or many people who use school, they just use it as a place for the people that they meet in the real world to exist online. So if you have a prayer group, you can start a school group for those people so you can stay in touch between prayer groups meetings. If you have a fantasy football league, you can have a school group about the fantasy football league. Like if you have a sports team, even rec league, you can have a school group about that, right? It's just a place for people to meet online to build community. That's the whole platform. That's all it is. And obviously we have lots of cool features to make it like fun and easy and accessible. But that's it. It's $9 a month. All right. So it's free if you want to just be a user, but if you want to host a group, it's $9. Okay. That being said, I'm up next. BTO and good stuff. I don't know what BTO means. Is that some internet slang, Luke?
If it is, I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't. And he's like 17, so if he doesn't know, you're just making stuff up, man. Okay. Big picture. Let's dive into this next one because this one has been on my heart. You're not getting what you want out of your business or your life because you want too many things at the same time. You're not willing to make trade-offs. And I will prove it to you. And so in this video, I'll break down the core problem and the way to frame the trades that you make at different seasons in your life. And so, if you don't know who I am, my name is Hormozi. I own Acquisition.com. It's a portfolio company that did $250 million in aggregate revenue last year. Just a few weeks ago, I broke the Guinness Book World Record of fastest selling nonfiction book of all time and doing $106 million in sales. We sold 3.6 million books in just under 3 days. And I've only gotten there by making trade-offs. Now, some people would not agree with the trades that I've made, and that's okay, because their life is theirs and my life is mine, and each can live according to their preferences. And so everything in life has trade-offs, and people just need to determine the price versus the value. Like anything, there's going